Yeah, no
Y'all
doubt.
Right.
getting me?
For
No
real.
And
doubt.
I
all
mean,
of the
nah, for real.
persecution, not so much from other people
Right. From yourself.
From you.
that you
Yeah.
deal
Yes.
with.
Yeah. Bruh.
Yes.
Listen,
It
that's
when
what I be
let
trying to
bruh.
explain to people when I tell them, man, I don't want to fight with me.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I can deal with you a little bit, because I can fan you off or walk away from your conversation,
Correct.
but I can't walk away from me when
No.
I'm trying to set me
When it's
up
in your
and,
head.
and me
Yeah.
is getting on me
For
about
real.
Yes.
a decision. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
When you make decisions, a lot of times we don't count the cost of the decision
Correct.
Right.
until afterwards when we feel the weight of the price of it.
Right.
And
But
that
that's
man,
it. That's
that
it.
burden there,
That's it right there.
that one becomes so heavy. Oh my gosh!
It
But you
do.
know
Come on
what?
with it,
It,
and we gonna hit you
you
out. Hey,
just you just said it. You just
huh?
said it. It's because we know the weight of it, which is why it feels so heavy. We know the weight of it. And it's hard. Man, listen. When you know the weight of responsibility of certain things, when you start to accept it, like for me, man, ministering initially was a gift, and I operated out of gifting for so long. There was no authenticity in it. There was no power behind it. There was no because it just came natural. The Bible said, "Gift to
Yeah.
come without repentance." But when
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
begin to fully embody the things that I'm talking about, and I begin to really allow the Holy Spirit to dwell within me, and I begin to operate, I felt the weight of the responsibilities. So my decisions weigh so much more heavier. So when I felt
Yes.
like I disappointed the Father, the Holy One, and I
Yes.
disappointed my family, like man, it made me just want to cause like Big Bro said, I can't get out of here. I can't shut this
Right.
thing. So
Yes.
Okay,
I do
you
want to know, bro. What was your make? Cause that was my major one, bro. Like I felt shame.
I I think because I didn't initiate the divorce,
Mm,
and because it wasn't the tone that I set, that as I began to go through it, I began to accept it for what it was. Something my mother said to me one night in a lonely state, and she's talked to me, and I was crying, and she was like, I've been there. And she said, and the best advice mama can give you is you can't make somebody love you.
mm.
No matter how
That's
hard
a
you try,
fact.
you can't make them love you.
that's it.
That's got to come
Prince,
natural.
come on, Prince and Tank.
And she said, and won't nothing cure you faster and kill you quicker than love.
Mm,
And when she told me that, she said, so somebody's going to come and cure you from this. But in the meantime, you got to let it kill you. And so as I went through the killing of the divorce and let that person had to die off from me,
right,
I found later in life, bro, that I started saying to myself, maybe if I would have did this different or did that different, then it probably wouldn't have happened. If
right,
I would have changed some of the errors of my ways,
right.
then yeah, I probably could have kept, you know, my wife at the time. And but I've noticed that that only comes when I'm really in a extremely lonely state, and I look back over my life and say, man, you wouldn't be this lonely if you wouldn't have
Right,
did this during the time that you was married.
right.
Then your wife would still be around. But the question is, it might have been possible, it might be. Then again, it might not be. You never
Mm,
know. Because
right.
in marriages, people stay together and they grow
That's right.
apart. Um, my last point here, my godmother, Dr. Evangeline, used to tell me, she used to say, I think that people should have 10-year markers when it comes to marriage.
Mm,
I said, 10 years? I said, no, you're supposed to be till death do you part. She said, yeah, for that person. But when that person dies off, you should get another person. But I think that every 10 years, just like your taste buds change,
right.
your whole everything changes
That's
every
pretty
10
good.
years.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was like, and I think that in 10 years, if you all should have a contract to say, hey, now if we want to move forward the next 10 we can, but we got an option to kind of cut it here with no love lost and then try it again. And I found that you do wind up growing apart from some people over time. And that plays a part in your life. So yeah, as far as me to answer your question, bro, I do sometimes think that had I been different, had I had the Jesus in me now when I was married, it might have been different.
Yeah, y'all excuse me, man. I got hit from behind, man. They knocked me offline. My droid had to fix me real quick. So I'm back. I'm back with the squadron, man. Yeah. Got hit real quick. So, Brother Alfonso.
Talk to us, Fawn. What you got?
Yeah, man. Talk to us, brother. What
Where your towel at?
What was your towel moment, man, in the ring that made you say, I'm done. I'm done. You know,
I keep mine, Fawn. I keep my towel. I'm ready.
Well, I won't necessarily say, because I'm fairly, like I say, I'm fairly, back into this stuff, and so I won't use a towel moment of perspective, but I will put a spin on some of the stronger challenges in trying to bring balance to the faith and all that I work toward and different things like that, and just having that monkey wrench through and I think we all know, and we can't really speak enough as men who are raising men and young men, and having them in the homes,
absolutely,
and the challenges that they bring to your doorstep, which can be hell out of hot water. At a lot of times when you're trying to be consistent, you're trying to drop new jewels and nuggets all the time. You're constantly doing a lot of this, trying to get in here, but because of the testosterone and a lot of I'm gonna say a lot of the things that they're feeding themselves, which is not word, you're at an imbalance, and it's just natural. Like a lot of young men, like even me at that age, last thing I'm trying to read is the Bible and all that kind of stuff. So if you're gonna talk to me from a real raw perspective. And so a lot of times, as men we have in our homes, these young men, they feeling themselves, and one thing about it is there can't be two men in the house. There can always only be one. And so we have an issue, and we have a problem when you have one or two guys who are, 17, 18 years old, and their voice get deep and they want to huff and puff and put their chest up and all of that. These are things to where sometimes it can go beyond words. So with that, what does that look like? And we know with the faith and then believing in the Lord, but also knowing and understanding that there's a circumstance brewing in your home when you have, men who wants to, rise up, against you. What do you do as a man of faith? And there's, I've had conversation with a couple of people where this is real life stuff. Like these are things.
Yes, it is.
Some people.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it is.
Saw the whole Kurt Franklin thing where we end up getting glimpse of him, and that's this is normal stuff that goes on in our home. So Bible said, spare not the rod, and that's very much needed. Sometimes we do too much of this. And there are times when they get that age, and I even warn my wife, I'm like, look, there's going to come a day and age, and I know this from experience. I have brothers, I had a father. Look,
I know where you're going. Come on.
These hands going to have to touch.
No doubt.
At least one or two of them boys.
Gonna have
to touch what's going on, and put a shaking of fear in there so that they understand that there's just a certain level of respect that you always have to have. Now, totally, sooner than later, this always has to happen in the family. That's just how it works when you're raising young men. They're gonna challenge you and they're gonna try you. And if you're in one of those single parent homes, unfortunately, young men take advantage and get over on women who don't have the men playing the what was his name? Ving Rhames to Jody, coming in and putting Jody in place,
Nailed it.
And so with things, man, you can't do nothing but and it sounds crazy, but in those moments, you have to okay, Lord, you know, and that's like the quickest prayer
Yeah.
before the next phase
Facts.
comes, because he do know, you know, and at the end of it all, you know, here's where I try to create the balance. Those things have to happen. They have to transgress
Yes,
to
they
where
do.
when you can't, and you, we all know, any father who's really put in that work and that time, talking and making sure that the seeds are there, like I said, that's the rebellious age. They're gonna do that. They're gonna kick back. But
Right.
when it comes time to lay hands, lay
Mm.
them hands, but follow up. And my
No, I
follow up
just
always comes with, look, your dad hates, you know, that this happening, and I didn't want to come to that. But do understand the circumstance and breaking down to them the why. This is why I had to do that. And this
Right.
is why
Exactly.
where we start changing things in this relationship. This is when we, you know, that whole situation set them up for what I like to really look at it and refer to as just like a real, it's like their first real grown man conversation, because they graduated. When
Yeah.
anytime you've graduated from the belt to where you have to get these hands,
Right.
you've changed the relationship. Now
Yeah.
Right.
we have to change some things. Our
it
conversations
definitely
have to
changes.
approach you different. And then
Yeah.
we even have to, on certain levels, I have to sit back, and my dad to you looks a little different than my dad to the other siblings, because I have to be careful. I can't joke too much. I have to kind of set myself back up so that you understand there's a barrier of respect. And in
Right.
other words, to make that trainable and teachable, you're in a new class. And I can only teach that with hard love. And we hate in this age giving hard love, because the system has made everything so soft and watered down, and don't do this and don't do that.
Man.
And that's
Speak
that.
the facts, bro.
Hard love
Man.
is just as necessary as tender
That's
love.
Yes.
Father
Yes.
It's
does
the
us the
yang,
same way.
it's the yang to the yang.
Exactly.
You can't take one
Exactly.
without the other. You know,
God
and we
does us the
need that.
same way.
We
Hard
need
love.
that. We
Hey,
need it.
listen, my mother taught me, I know Orlando and my wife, a very valuable words, or should I say very valuable words of wisdom when it came to raising uh our children. And I know definitely for me with my sons. And her words were, I don't know where she got it from, but she gave it to me. So I can only take it to the
Got it from
source
her
I got
mother.
it from. She got it from her mother. Okay. She got it from my grandmother. She
Yep.
said, good parents make crazy kids. Crazy parents make good kids.
Yep.
If your kids don't think you crazy, they gonna act crazy.
Yep.
So when it comes to raising children, and I'm a stern, you can go to any one of my three, and they thought me and my wife was nuts. If they don't have a fear of you, they're going to do anything to run over you without that fear. And we didn't pull out a extension cord and race car tracks and half the stuff we used to get chastised with back. I didn't send them out to no tree to go get no switch. But
Right.
when the time came for me to chastise my boys, I chastised my boys. And like you said, Alfonso, came a time where they you know, they start talking to my wife. That's what I tell them. That's my wife. That may be your mother, but that's my wife. So they start talking to their mother a little sideways, and I had to tell them, I'm not jumping on you because you talk to your mother like that. I'm jumping on you because you talk to my wife like that. That was a whole different conversation. You don't disrespect my wife in my home. Now, if you want to be ignorant and disrespect your mother, you need to check yourself. But I'm going to get you for talking to my wife like that. Then we're going to go to phase two, which is you shouldn't be talking to your mother like that. So you got two of them coming.
Right.
Not just one. You know, but first I'm going to deal with you for dealing with my wife like that.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to deal with you because you should know better to talk to your mother like that. So no, it's well respected and well understood. Men raise men.
Right.
You understand?
Facts. Facts.
And y'all know how dad was with us. Dad, he'd tell us he'd go get my drop kick shoes.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
Right.
He's finna lock some heels, man. He's finna lock some
Yeah,
heels.
lock some heels.
Right. Oh yeah. He quick for that. Yo, I'm
Yeah.
gonna lock these turkeys heels.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Put them at attention real quick.
Yes.
But man,
Hey, that was good, fun.
Yeah.
Man, it's again real conversation, and we've been doing this for years, man. Just men, but we don't talk enough about those things. And then
Right.
having the faith that we believe in, trying to balance the two. That's a real world.
Hey, man, David said it best in Psalms 23:4 when he talked. What did he say comforted him? The rod and the staff.
That's right.
They comfort.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah,
You can't have one without the other. Like
Right.
It's balanced. It's balanced.